Once you figure out what works best for you, structure it into your life and don't stray away from it. Your body will feel so much better if you stay consistent with structured exercise that you developed through intuitively exercising. Your body will never feel better. Welcome to the Elevate Your Ride podcast, where rider performance is taken to the next level through conversation and education. Our episodes range from rider health to horse training to the stories behind successful amateurs and more. I'm your host, Ellie, personal trainer for equestrians. Thanks for tuning in. A quick testimonial from one of our listeners. Brianna said, I have started listening to your podcast and I love the content. Thank you for starting this podcast. Breaking down the personal and training side of things and pairing that with mindset in the saddle has been very eye-opening and helped encourage me to take my health more serious out of the saddle. Thanks, Brianna, for listening. Okay, you guys, welcome to the next episode for 2026. This is going to be a really cool episode. So, I'm going to talk about the idea of intuitively exercising. And this is something that I think is really important and it takes time to build. It is not something that you can create overnight. It takes consistency with exercise, learning about your body, learning what makes you feel good, what makes your body not feel good. Learning how to intuitively exercise is really about learning more about your body. And I think that it is really important for developing a strong routine that your body thrives on. So for some people, they might thrive on mainly weight training. Their body feels good when they are lifting heavy weights. They don't necessarily have any past injuries or compensations. These are usually people who are fairly naturally athletic. They might not have to worry about pain management quite so much or some other things that could restrict people from lifting weights super consistently. But then some other bodies might do really well with consistently doing yoga or Pilates. And if that's you, maybe you have some sort of a past injury or you have a contraindication that keeps you from lifting weights consistently, but you want to feel strong. So you do Pilates and yoga, right? Like there's all these different ways to exercise. And you have to try all of them consistently for a good period of time to really learn if your body enjoys it. One thing that's important too, if your body does not enjoy a certain type of exercise, maybe try a slightly different type of that exercise. So there's tons of different types of yoga. There's tons of different types of Pilates. There's many ways to achieve cardio. There's different methods for achieving weights. Like play around with some of those modalities first, and then if your body truly does not enjoy that type of exercise, then maybe you don't do it, right? And when I say your body, I mean your muscles, your joints, your ligaments, your tendons, your digestive system, your cardiovascular system, your mind, your brain, all of it. All of the things that make up your body need to enjoy and thrive on the type of exercise that you're doing. So, when I say intuitively exercise, I am really talking about two different ideas. So, the first one, intuitively exercising, is like I said, learning your body and what type of exercise it enjoys the most. And that's what takes the time to build, right? So, I intuitively know that my body does really well with a mix of everything, but mainly prioritizing weight training. So, my body thrives on weightlifting 2 to 3 times a week, doing yoga, Pilates once a week, doing a cardio workout once a week, and then doing lots of walking and riding twice a week. Like my body feels strong, about as pain-free as I can get it on that type of a schedule. But I call that intuitively exercising because I love lifting weights and I think that it is a great form of exercise and I love feeling strong and fit and muscular and it really helps me in the saddle. But when I only lift weights, my back hurts and I'm not flexible and my cardio could use some work. So I intuitively exercise by also adding in cardio, also adding in yoga and Pilates, but I prioritize the weight training. Right. So that's the first way that I intuitively exercise. And then the second way is intuitively exercising on a certain given day. So let's say that today is Monday and I'm supposed to lift weights and I'm supposed to do a leg focused full body day. So what that means for me is I'm lifting weights for my lower body and then doing body weight or functional exercises for my upper body. And that's just the schedule that I have found that works really well for me. Let's say that I did a little bit too much activity over the weekend. And I know that based on my past experiences, that if I hit my workout today the way that it's written, I would be super sore the next day, and it would not set me up for success for the rest of the week. It would make me sore for my workout on Tuesday and on Wednesday. And if I don't get my proper workouts on Tuesday and on Wednesday, then I'm screwed up 3 days out of the week of my workout schedule. And I want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So I'm going to say, okay, what can I do? Can I still do my programmed workout, but maybe I do lighter weight or fewer reps? Or maybe even no weight, right? Can I modify the workout itself? That way I can still be set up to do my workout tomorrow and on Wednesday and then for the rest of the week. And if the answer is no, I'm still too sore or I feel sick, right? Like there's something going on in my body that says, it's not a great idea today. Then I'll say, okay, can I switch my schedule around? Can I swap my scheduled yoga and Pilates on Thursday to today and then put my leg focused full body workout to Thursday, right? Can I change my schedule? And if the answer is still no, like for whatever reason, I won't have time or I have something else going on and I'm not going to be able to complete that longer leg focused full body workout on Thursday, then I'll say, okay, then I'm just going to stretch and I'm just going to do yoga and I'm just going to skip that lower body focused workout. Or maybe if I can, I'll try and squeeze it in later. But that's intuitively exercising. Knowing my body and knowing that if I do my workout as it's programmed, I'm not going to feel good and it's not going to set me up for the rest of the week. Okay. That is hard to know when to do, how to keep yourself from falling off the wheel entirely, right? Because sometimes people feel like, well, if I don't get my workout in how it's programmed, then how am I ever going to stay consistent? How am I ever going to achieve anything? How am I ever going to reach my goals, right? And that comes from needing a shift in your mindset. Falling in love with the process is what's the important part, not necessarily the result. So if you look at your goals and you focus them on being process orientated instead of goal orientated, then that's how you do that. That's how you not fall off track if you need to change one of your workouts. Because it's unrealistic to think that my body and your body is always 100% of the time going to feel up to the workout that you have programmed that day. So you need to be able to intuitively exercise, right? So super, super important, something that I try to teach all of my clients how to do. Are you always hearing roll your shoulders back, push your heels down, add more leg, but you don't feel like you can? These cues will feel like a constant fight if your mind and body has not developed the proper connection, coordination, mobility, stability, and strength required. At Lope and Down the Rail Fitness, I create customized workout plans for riders so you can become a stronger athlete for your horse. If you're ready to ride more effectively, visit my website, lopeanddowntherailfitness.com, linked in the show notes of this episode, and start training with purpose to elevate your ride. So I'm going to go over the 3 steps for how you can learn how to intuitively exercise. So step number 1, you have to be consistent with a variety of structured exercise, right? There's a bunch of different types of exercises out there. There's so many different variations, like I mentioned, of Pilates and yoga for stretching and mobility and light strength training. You've got yin yoga, you've got vinyasa, you've got Bikram. And then for Pilates, you have mat Pilates, you have reformer Pilates. There's so many different types of ways to stretch and mobilize and do some light strength training. And they're even past just yoga and Pilates, right? There's just general stretching, there's just general mobility. So taking 4 to 6 weeks to really learn your body and what type of stretching and mobilization makes it feel good, makes you feel like you can perform better, right? So there's tons of free resources on the internet for you to learn more about these. If you don't have access to a gym or it's not within your budget to pay, right? Go on YouTube, like, and actually, a little sneak peek, I may or may not be bringing on a yoga and a Pilates instructor soon in the future to teach you more about yoga and Pilates. I'm super excited about that. But for the purpose of this episode, I don't have that out yet. But just know that that is coming. So for now, my favorite resources would be Yoga with Adriene on YouTube. She's very informative. She has very high quality videos. She teaches you about your body, about diaphragmatic breathing, about why she's having you do the stretches the way that she is and why she chose the ones that she did. I enjoy her a lot. Okay. And then for Pilates, the one that I have had the most success with, which is not actually on YouTube, it's just a website. It's called Pilates Live and it's free online Pilates classes. She has over 300 of them available that are free. I love her stuff. She does a great job. She has no equipment and equipment. Highly, highly recommend. Okay. So, spend some time learning about those different types of exercises. Okay. And then you have traditional strength training for gaining muscle and strength and losing weight. Okay. So, spend again 4 to 6 weeks learning about strength training. I don't necessarily have any specific resources on like YouTube for like follow along videos that I love and have had great success with. I recommend just going on Google and looking up general upper body strength training exercises and lower body strength training exercises. So, for example, you want to ideally find an exercise per body part. So, for the upper body, that would be the chest, the upper back, the lower back, maybe the mid back as well, the shoulders, the triceps, the biceps, the abs. Okay. You need 1 to 2 exercises for all of those muscles. Okay. And then for the lower body, the main muscles that I would focus on are the hip flexors, the quads, the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the inner thighs, and the outer thighs. So again, you just need 1 to 2 exercises per body part. You can choose your favorite ones on Google. Doing something is going to trump doing nothing. But whatever Google pops up with will be just fine if you're just starting out and you're not really sure what to do or where to go. Again, I will hopefully have a video showing you the basics of strength training soon, but it's not happening just yet. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay with me, guys. Okay. And then for cardio. Okay. So you do cardio for various health benefits. You do it to increase your longevity, to avoid disease, to avoid chronic conditions, to stay fit for your horse and for daily life. There's so many benefits for cardio, and there's so many different ways to increase your cardio. You can walk, you can run, you can do the elliptical, you can do the bike, you can do HIIT training, you can do spin classes. There's a million different ways that you can increase your cardio. So again, I recommend spending 4 to 6 weeks trying out all of them, seeing what ones that you like. Okay. So overall, that is step one. Trying out different types of exercises, giving it a chance 4 to 6 weeks to see how your body does. And then after that, you will know your body and that type of exercise so much better. And don't be afraid to stop for the first week or two. Don't feel afraid to be in the learning stage. That is okay. You have to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. I used to be 15, 16, lifting weights in the gym, having no idea what I was doing too. Okay. Now here I am 10 years later, a personal trainer. Okay. I did not think that's what I was going to do with my life when I was 16. Okay. You just have to try. Okay. And a lot of people are scared to go to the gym. Fine. Work out at home. Most of my clients and myself work out at home. Okay. But that being said, the gym is a beautiful place. And most of the time, it's filled with wonderful people who are just there to better themselves. They're not there to watch you. They're not there to judge you. They're there for them. Now, there's bad eggs everywhere, right? But as a general rule of thumb, it's a very supportive community. So give it a try. How do you know if you don't try, right? Don't just listen to what the internet says, okay? And I promise I've never been in a gym filled with a bunch of influencers, okay? I've never seen a bunch of people with their cameras, with their video recording devices, and they're taking up a bunch of space and all the equipment. I've never seen that in a gym. Okay. So don't be nervous about that too, that it's just people there trying to show off and trying to make money on the internet. Okay. Are you ready to take your riding to the next level? Better performance starts with a mindset shift, how you think, train, and show up each day. Positive affirmations like small steps toward big goals, progress over perfection, and consistency builds confidence serve as powerful reminders to stay focused and committed. Check out our Elevate Your Ride affirmation merch, linked in the show notes, and add intention to your everyday routine. So then, step 2, after you've spent a good amount of time trying all these different types of workouts and exercise modalities, okay, you got to look internally and ask yourself, where are you lacking in your mind and body's abilities? And how can you receive those from exercise? Okay. So, yoga, Pilates brings us peace. It centers us, brings you clarity, makes you more limber, shows you where you have tight muscles and where you have weak muscles, teaches you how to have control over your body, how to have patience, how to have focus, how to have self compassion. Okay. If you're lacking any of those things, I would recommend having Pilates and yoga be a focus of your exercise routine more than once a week, 2 to 3 times a week. Have that be a focus. Okay. And it might change over time, right? Your mind and your body is going to change over time. It might not be forever, but if you feel like you're lacking internally with any of those things that I just mentioned, it needs to be part of your weekly routine 2 to 3 times a week. Okay. So then let's say when you were practicing your strength training, was it hard for you? Were you naturally really weak? Did you not progress at all in weights or reps during the entire 4 to 6 weeks that you were doing it? Do you get injured easily? Are you always straining a muscle or pulling a muscle? Or do you always just feel weak? Okay. Then strength training needs to be an essential part to your workout routine every week. 2 to 3 times a week. It needs to be a focus. Okay. It might not be everything that you do, right? But it needs to be a focus. It needs to be something that you commit to. Okay. And then when you did your cardio workouts, did you progress really easily? Did you feel like you could run 1 mile one day and then 2 miles the next and then 3 miles the third? Or did you not really progress at all? Was it challenging for you? Over the 4 to 6 weeks, let's say that you chose to run every day, did that distance not increase over the whole 4 to 6 weeks? Do you feel like when you ride, you're constantly limited by your cardiovascular system? When you go on a walk, are you limited by your cardiovascular system? Is it hard for you to go up and down the stairs, right? Like, listen to your body. It will tell you what you're struggling with. You just gotta listen, right? I promise. The more that you can develop a relationship with your body, the better. Okay. It just takes time. It takes practice. It takes a bunch of different creative ways to learn how to do it. Okay. So if you really struggle with cardio, add it into your routine, make it a focus. Okay. 2 to 3 times a week. Okay. All right. So now that you have all that information, you can build a program that prioritizes what your body needs so you can intuitively exercise. Help your body with what it needs. Okay. What works for me is not going to work for you. What works for one of my clients is not going to work for the next client. What works for some random coach on the internet is not going to work for you. Okay. You have to learn your body and what it needs. Okay. Now, that being said, general rule of thumb, I do recommend so those 3 types of exercises that I mentioned. There's different types of ways to exercise out there, but I would say that those are the 3 main pillars. Okay. Being mobile, being flexible, which you gain through yoga and Pilates, being strong, which you gain through weight training, and then just being generally fit when avoiding disease and increasing your longevity through cardio. Okay. So I would say ideally you have all 3. Okay. And one thing too, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by, oh my God, I don't exercise any days of the week. And now Ellie's asking me to exercise 5 days a week. Okay. Yes, that would be amazing. But I understand that that's not realistic for a lot of people. I have plenty of clients who only work out 2 to 3 days a week. Okay. So in that scenario, let's say that you can't commit to that many days of exercise. How can you combine 2 of them into one? Okay. So let's say that you're going to focus mainly on weight training. Can you combine like a 15-minute yoga and a 15-minute cardio session together into one workout that you do once a week? And then can you strength train once or twice a week on its own on top of that? That way you're actually only working out 2 to 3 times a week, but you still have a focus on weight training, right? Like with exercise in general, there's no such thing as creating the perfect plan and then never adjusting it, right? As your body gets fitter, or as you go through weaknesses and sicknesses and injuries, right? Like your body's going to change constantly. So this is going to change over time. So it's about creating a routine that works for you right now and then being open to it changing later on. It's okay. Things are allowed to change. You're creating a fluid workout routine, not a solid workout routine. You're not writing it in stone. You're writing it on paper with a pencil. Okay. And I would give it at least 1 to 2 months of consistency before you decide to change anything. Okay. So let's say that you come up with a routine, like I just mentioned, you're strength training 1 to 2 times a week, and then you do a cardio/mobility stretching session once a week. Okay. Give that a try for at least 1 to 2 months. Okay. Don't try it for a week and say, well, I didn't notice any benefits, so I'm just going to give it. Okay. You have to give exercise a commitment to see if it's actually going to benefit you and not just have rousing. Okay. You got to show up. You got to put in the work. Okay. Otherwise, you're not going to see much benefits. And that's really frustrating to feel like you're putting in work and not seeing any benefits. So you have to commit. Okay. And then finally, we have step 3, which is the absolute top tier, best spot to be at in your fitness, which is what I do, structured intuitively exercising. Okay. Once you become really proficient with all those categories, okay, more than likely one or two of them will always feel more difficult for you. And maybe there's one type in particular that your body really thrives and craves. Okay. Maybe you're like me and you have a back injury and you notice significantly less pain when you're stretching all the time. Okay. So after you've given your body the time that you need, you can create what I would call your normal routine, which would be your regular maintenance routine for your body. And like I said, that's going to be ever evolving. It's going to be different for everybody. But once you figure out what works best for you, structure it into your life and don't stray away from it. Your body will feel so much better if you stay consistent with structured exercise that you developed through intuitively exercising. Your body will never feel better. I promise. Are you loving our content and are wondering how you can support your hosts? Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify for access to all our episodes ad-free. For $4.99 a month, you can help us bring you the quality content you need to elevate your ride. If you're interested in sponsoring an episode for your business, our packages start at $50 an episode and offer you a wide range of exposure to equestrians. Click the Sponsor Us link in the show notes to learn more. I've talked about my routine a couple of times, okay? So I do the leg focused full body on Monday. I do the upper body focused full body on Tuesday. I do either mobility stretching on Wednesday or on Thursday. I kind of leave that part up to me and how my body's feeling. And then if I did yoga/Pilates on Wednesday, then I'm going to do just a full body strength training on Thursday and vice versa. Okay. Then on Friday and Saturday, I go on a ride. I'll maybe do like some light stretching, light foam rolling on those days too, but I don't usually lift weights on days that I ride. I'm not saying I never do it, but I try not to. And then Sunday is my cardio day. I do a quick 30 minutes, either stretching it with a run or stretching with a HIIT workout, something just to keep my body in shape. Okay. So that's just what works well for me. Okay. It's going to look different for you. But I know through years and years of experience that that's how my body feels its best. I perform my best. I'm as pain-free as possible. I feel strong. I'm happy with how I look, how I feel. I promise that you can find the routine for you too. Just because you're maybe getting started a little later in life or because you struggled with exercise in the past does not mean that you can't create a routine that works well for you. Okay. But I promise it's worth getting to this spot. It's worth it. It's worth the annoyance. It's worth the feeling like you don't know what you're doing. It's worth the time, it's worth the energy, it's worth the effort. It is worth it to feel good in your body. You feel so much better in every area of your life when your body feels good and when it's working for you. When your body feels good and it feels strong, think about how much easier it is to ride. Think about how much easier it is to spend time with your kids. Think about how much easier it is to move a heavy laundry basket up and down the stairs. Okay. Now, the opposite. Think about how hard it is to ride when you don't feel strong and you don't feel fit. Think about how hard it is to get up and down off the ground to play with your kid when you're not fit. Think about how hard it is to do daily chores when you're not fit and you're not strong. It does not feel good. And then if you don't feel good, it's really hard to be happy and it's really hard to be content in other areas of your life. Okay. So, learning how to love exercise, which I know can sound kind of funny, and some of you probably just rolled your eyes at me because I know that so many people dislike exercise. Okay. But really, it's not necessarily exercise that people dislike, it's that they have not tried hard enough or long enough and been consistent enough to see results, or they need to try a different type of exercise. If you don't like running, don't go on runs. If you don't like traditional weight training, don't do traditional weight training. If you hate doing yoga, don't do yoga, right? Now, I say that with a little bit of caution, right? Because sometimes we need those things in our life, but fall in love with something you like first and get consistent with something you like. And then once you're consistent with things you like, then maybe you sprinkle in the things that you don't like. But if you hate running, you don't need to just go on a run 5 days a week and kill yourself over it, make you hate it even more. Like, that's not a good idea. That's not falling in love with exercise and your routine and running, right? Like, try to trick yourself into loving it eventually. It's not that hard. Our bodies and our minds are really easy to trick, I promise. When there's a will, there's a way. You just got to get creative. You just got to listen to your body and learn how to intuitively exercise. Hopefully, I convinced you that it's a really good idea and that you should give it a try. If I didn't convince you, gosh, dang it. Well, maybe reach out to me and you need to be a client of mine so I can show you how to do it. Okay? I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. You just have to commit to the process of it and be okay with it taking a longer time. Okay? Think about how much better off you would be today if you started 6 months ago or 3 months ago. Think about how much better off you'll be in 6 months or in 3 months from starting today. Start today. Start it. Do it. I believe in you. You got this. Thank you for listening to the Elevate Your Ride podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, follow us on social media, or leave a positive review. Please note, the views, ideas, and education shared on this podcast are intended for general education, and you should always consult with your team before making any big changes.